stupid bitch. He's leaning over me, and right as I die, his necklace falls off and just conks me in the face.
I do remember. Hey future! So, I'm here with Katrina Gibson and Kate Westray, and we're here to talk about a little show we did last year called The Rocky Horror Show. It was almost a year ago, like next month. So we're just gonna do basically a post-mortem of the show that we never got to do.
I'm Katrina Gibson, and I played Columbia.
I'm Kate Westray, and I played Janet.
And you've played Janet twice now, right?
Yes, I have played Janet 2 times. And
Very
she has
exciting.
played...
I played Magenta twice and Columbia once.
Yeah.
And I just played Hitler. I played Dr. Scott and I was Frank's understudy, but I mean, I can't really consider that because I was Frank for 10 minutes in 2 rehearsals, maybe?
So the reason why I had an understudy is because they needed someone else to learn the dances so they could help me with them. Why wasn't I the dance captain?
We have some questions to answer about the show. So question 1 is, how was your audition experience?
I remember we were the second day of auditions, and so in the first day of auditions they had loads of callbacks. Loads of callbacks for Rocky, and loads of callbacks for Oklahoma, and loads of... And I auditioned, I was like the 7th person that day, and I finished, and they were like, okay, bye. And I was like, oh, no callbacks, no, and I just was like, I guess it was really shit. And I told people, I came out, I was like, yeah, I guess, I was like, I didn't really do a really good job. I just really thought, like, they really laughed at my monologue. I was like, I guess I didn't do that great. Hopefully I'm in the chorus for Rocky. I didn't want to be in Oklahoma.
So yeah, I was the same, like us third years had to go like the second day, and I heard there's a ton of callbacks. And I was second last or last to audition because Westray is an awesome last name.
Yeah, you're after me.
So,
I was before Liz.
yeah. So, and I had heard from everyone, like, I kept going upstairs, and everyone was like, yeah, there's really, like, no callbacks. Only people got callbacks for Oklahoma, and barely anyone. So, me, Devan, and Preston waited downstairs, because we were the VWs.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super nervous. Because I really did want Janet, and I, like, put everything, like, my whole audition was...
What was your audition
towards
song?
her, Like a Virgin.
I told her to sing that song.
And it was
in
fun,
advance.
and like I totally dressed up, like I was wearing like kind of like a lingerie dress, and like I don't know, like I was going balls to the wall, and I was just getting nervous, and both of them were like, okay, let's just chill, because we had like 2 hours to spend, and so we ended up singing Let It Go to try and calm down, and I like mixed that E for the first time ever, and I don't know, that just gave me the confidence. When I went upstairs, I was like, I don't even give a fuck, like let's just fucking do it. And I got called back for Oklahoma, which I was really pissed about. And when I went in for the audition for Oklahoma, Melissa like was trying to like whisper to me, like hide from Catherine. Do you have Tatcha? And I was like, yeah. And Catherine's like, no, she's in here for an Oklahoma callback. And Melissa's like, just do Tatcha real quick. And it was really awkward, so I just did it. She like filmed it for Mike. And Melissa, whenever she films things, like gets angles and stuff. She's like, just keep going till I'm done. So I just kept being like, Tatcha's in. It was so awkward. And Catherine's like shooting daggers at me, like, you're here for Oklahoma.
What song did you sing for your audition?
I sang The Seven Seas of Rye by
a good
Queen.
song.
Because it's about aliens taking over. Like, it's great. It has great range. Like, it has like the really crazy high part, and like, so it's a great range. But it also like it's about kind of like a Rocky Horror theme.
Yeah.
I was originally gonna do Wig in a Box from Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which is the song, either that song or was the other song that Justin did. Because Justin ended up singing a song from Hedwig, but I was like, no, I want to show off my range in case maybe they want to cast me as Riff. So I did The Show Must Go On by Queen.
Oh, where'd you get that cheat music?
I got it from Katrina. And
Saving the day.
I practiced so much, and like I was mixing that D for days. When it came to my actual audition, I was wearing me thinking like, I gotta do something that'll impress them, something that'll be different from everyone else. I wore 6-inch heels to my audition. I just was way too close to the audition panel. And I regret that every single day of my life.
I love that.
Every single day of my life. No, he called me out on it later. And then I sat down and I did Confessions of a Drag Queen as my monologue. Which I thought, again, there's no Oklahoma in there at all. Nothing in there says, let's do Oklahoma. And then I got a call back for Oklahoma. So question 2, what was your reaction when you got cast?
I was in Buffalo Wild Wings with Justin and Elena, and the cast list came out, and we're all reading it on our phones. I couldn't like process the information. Like I actually was pretty sure, I was like, I think they'll put me in Rocky because there's no way John Carter's gonna put me in a show like Oklahoma. And I read the list and I couldn't like process the information. Like I kept following my name across. So I was like, oh, there's my name. And I was like, but I can't, why am I reading this wrong? So I refused to realize.
Columbia.
And I couldn't like process the information. And it wasn't until Elena was like, what the fuck? Like Elena was like, this doesn't even make sense. And I was like, who? And she's like, you! It's the only dancing role really in the show. It's the only role. Obviously I'm terrible at dance, but there were subjects where people struggled as much as me. There are people who really struggled in hip hop. There are people who really struggled in but no one struggled in tap as much as me.
No, there was one person.
Man. Like she was just like,
and I remember when I came in the next day, Kristen, I walk in and she's like, oh my gosh, we have a tap dancer in our midst. And I was like, when they asked her if I could tap the part. And they're like, so Kristen, can Katrina have the part? And Kristen said, absolutely not, but you should cast her anyway. And she's like, because she's really funny. That's what Melissa and Kristen
thought. Just trying so hard and failing miserably, so awkwardly. Like, it was like, the way you played Columbia, like, overall was like, you didn't fit in and you're trying so hard. And so you were like, I'm tapping, and like everyone's like,
okay, so what was your reaction when you got cast?
My reaction when I was casted, I was super nervous. A lot of people were like, you're gonna get it, blah blah blah, but like, I don't know, you never think you are. No one thought the cast list was coming out that day. Everyone thought it was coming at least a few days later, because they always make us wait, and they told us like it'll be ready
very soon
in a few days, and then they dropped it that night or something. I was at Megan Leader's house and Leanna's house. The cast list was dropped. Devan, I think, messaged our group being like, cast list is out. And so I'm just like, I didn't want to say anything. Like I was like, okay, personally, like I'm just gonna check this myself, whatever. And I got it. And I was really I was really excited. I was really happy, but I didn't even check what Megan and Leanna had gotten so far. So I was just like, I'm not gonna say anything. Like Leanna saw that the cast list was out, and Leanna was awesome about it. Leanna didn't get cast as anything. She was chorus in Rocky. And at that point, I really do think she was meant to be in Girls in the Gang, but they ended up canceling that. And that's what we were talking about. Like, I was like, dude, like, there's still this other show. Like, think about the people who didn't get roles in third year. Like, you guys are all suited for Girls in the Gang. Like, don't give up hope. Like, don't get upset. She was being cool about it. It was hard because, like, even though you're happy and you think, like, you worked hard, you just see a lot of the people who are like let down by it, and so you don't want to like make them feel even more bitter or unhappy and stuff, so you just have to play it cool.
Alright, so I was probably one of the first people to see the cast lists come up. I looked at my phone, I read it, and like when I was reading, I think I read the Oklahoma one first, and I was like, thank God. So I was reading our cast list, and I was like, oh good, oh great. And then I remember reading Justan's name and being like, yes, that's actually perfect. And that was the character I wanted, so I was like, fuck, great, he got the part I wanted, shit, but at the same time, it's perfect. And I continue reading, and I see Devon Wales, ellipses, 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 Dr. Scott. And I literally took my cell phone, threw it at the couch, and I started swearing a lot. My number one reasoning of being upset about that part, it is legitimately not in my vocal range at all. So then I ended up going to get ice cream and booze and going back to residence and hanging out with the first years. One of the problems with St.Clair is that other theater schools don't have is St.Clair is 3 consecutive years of auditions and 3 shows. And first year you can get a part or not get a part. Second year you could get a better part or anything. Like, it's evolving. And so third year you're like, this is my last chance. I gotta get this big part. This is when I should be getting this big part. Okay, so let's do question number 2/3. What was your favorite and least favorite rehearsal story?
Rehearsal. So it was March, so we'd been rehearsing for a bit, and I was feeling like more comfortable, but it was a Time Warp rehearsal. And for most of Time Warp, me and Brody just are chilling, freaking out, whatever.
Or getting molested.
Or getting, you know what I mean? Like, we don't fully participate. So I got way drunker than I anticipated the night before at Playboy Pub. And I showed up for school, and it was just one of those things where, like, if you move, you're gonna vomit. And I tried to eat and drink water and everything that's supposed to help you, and everything just, like, was gonna make me vomit. So I was just, like, running back and forth to the bathroom by the mess all morning, like, just trying to puke so it would be done, you know what I mean? And then at one point I was walking back into the mess. I guess we had called a break, and Melissa's like, are you okay? Like, where do you keep going? And I was like, dude, like, I'm so hungover, I'm sorry. And she's just like, go fucking puke. Like, I don't know, like, she was cool about it. But that day, I just remember I was like so just upset with myself, because up until then I had tried really hard to be like fully available, like into everything, even when I wasn't dancing. And that day I just was
So that was your least
like,
favorite.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Okay, what was your favorite then?
The first time we did the sex scene, and me and Justin, I mean, we were acquaintances, I would say, at this point. Like, we weren't friends yet, and I was a virgin at this point, real life, and Janet. Like, did not know really sex, like positions and stuff. Like, I don't know, I've seen porn, but like, I don't know. So it was all around like so awkward, but so funny. Like, we just had to, like, you just have to do it. Like, you just gotta do it. I don't know. I thought we were just starting right off the bat, but Phil was gonna say his little spiel beforehand. And I didn't know that, so I just started being like, and then Phil starts talking, like, me and Justin are both just like, and it was just so bad. It was so bad. And like, Melissa knew after 2 minutes, she was like, Kate, are you a virgin in real life? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, fuck, I keep forgetting that. Like, I'm sorry. And yeah, and then like we taped the Brody and Justin one, and I had it on my phone as well. And I have to start that off with my line, which I would forget until the last show. I always would forget that. And so Justin just starts riding Brody, and I'm staring, like, laughing, being like, haha, these fucking idiots. And they just keep going, and then I'm like, oh, like, I don't know, like, both those videos are so fucking funny.
Okay, my favorite rehearsal moment was probably that day that we were filming the sex scenes, because I had to be there to film some stuff for, like, Dr. Scott rolling down the hallway. But I just remember being there and, like, talking to Melissa about these sex scenes, and, like,
oh, this is like real filming.
Like,
See, ours was
filming.
like the first time we went through.
Okay, no, mine was the day of filming.
The filming was amazing.
The day of filming was so great. I don't know how we got on the topic of sex swings.
Time with Rocky, you just have to get close.
There's nothing is off limits.
We were so close to, like, we got so close as a cast. My favorite was, like, I was just really worried I wasn't doing a good job, because I felt like we wouldn't really work on my stuff. Like, we never talk about it. So I was feeling really, like, I was really worried. Like, she gave notes, and I kept tally, like, all the times. She just wouldn't even mention me the entire thing. And it was, like, not even say I exist. And I used to take a tally, and I would always joke that I wasn't in the show because she never would say anything. And it was the rehearsal where, like, she finally acknowledged me and note. She didn't look at me when she said it, but she was like, yeah. She was like, no, I think we like Columbia, because everyone's like, I didn't like Columbia. I thought Columbia was really annoying when I watched the movie. She's like, well, we like her so much because Katrina is, like, plays it so well. And I was like, me? So I'm so happy. I was like, oh, she doesn't hate me, because I just thought Melissa hated me. I thought she was, like, resented me because I was a terrible tap dancer. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't shout.
Fleeting.